Hi there everybody, it's UK independent demonstrator Halsey here from slimandstylish.com. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I've been sitting here since 1:45, can you imagine, and I thought, oh, I've got 15 minutes, so I'll do this instead. And as you do, sorry, I'm just turning you on at the side so I can see all your messages. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, time to go live. So hi everyone, I'm hoping this will work. I was having some fun with this earlier and it was complicating me loads, but it is a fancy fold card that I'm doing today. Hi everyone, hi Colleen, hi there Ivy, hey Cindy, Karen, Janice, hello guys. So I was actually, this isn't my idea, I should say from the start. It's a Jill Moore, and I was actually gifted one of her cards at a on stage as a swap, and it has got a little bit bent because, you know, I had to get it back in my case. So this was one of her cards and I created it today. So it folds flat so you can pop it in an envelope, but when you stand it up, it actually stands up and looks like a star like that, and it stands flat. It was quite easy to make the base. It was a little bit more confusing with the panels. Hi there Sophia, but you can use any DSP for this, and I just popped a sentiment stamp with it so we can get started. Hello Norma, morning. Hello Julie. Okay, so for this one you need your card base, which can be any colour, which is 8 1/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches by 5 7/8 of an inch. And in case you're a regular on my videos and you know that I'm going to lose something during the live, because I lose things all the time, I have already lost my little scoring tool, so I'm using a cheat one. I have one of these from a previous scoring tool that I went to go and get, because I have no idea where mine is. I think it's because I'm keeping it on the floor now that I'm working from home, and I've obviously knocked it and it's rolled under something, so I'll find it eventually, but I thought you'd like to know I've already lost something before starting. So here's my base, 8 1/4 by 5 7/8. I've already cut it. So you want to score it at 4 1/8 of an inch, just there. Okay, and burnish it. So it's just like an ordinary card. That's the simple bit. Everything else I'm going to use my trimmer for this because it's a slightly obscure score. It's 2 1/16 of an inch, and I'm actually going to turn it over. So whereas I scored on this side before so I could fold, I'm going to turn it over because I want to fold it back now, and I'm going to score it at 2 1/16. And once you've done it there, you want to do it on both panels, so turn again, 2 1/16. And if I write that down, you want to score it at 4 1/8 of an inch, and then at 2 1/16 of an inch in both panels. Hopefully, if you're following from the start, you'll see there it's 4. And then you want to fold those ones back on each other. There we go. It's quite a fun card. Oh, I know, Colleen, but I have this dream that one day I'll do something where I don't get it wrong or don't lose anything. Right, so what I did next was I need to score this diagonally. Okay, and I'm going to be scoring it diagonally down. So you can see there, if I flatten it out, that's where I've gone. So what I'm doing is I'm going to bend it in so I just have the middle pieces. I'm going to pop it on my grid paper and I'm going to mark very lightly with my pen, or you can do it with a pencil and then rub it out. That's probably the better way of doing it. 4 1/4 inches. So just there. And just there on both sides. Okay, and then turn it, and 4 1/4 inches and 4 1/4 inches again. A pencil probably would have been a better idea, but I don't have one at the side of my desk. I have my pen. Ivy, it's mean to sit there and giggle at me, you know. Okay, so then you just want to score from the corner to the pen mark. It's really easy in the scoring tool because you can see that the corner is in the run, and then you just need to line up the pen mark in the run as well. And it's down on that bit and back up on that bit, so turn your cardstock round. So it creates a V. And then turn it round and go again. Oh, I know you are, Ivy, don't worry. I laugh at me too. I was actually doing this while on the phone earlier, and all I kept thinking to myself was, oh Helen, you're going to get in a muddle with this one. Okay, and you want to do it on all of the panels. So once you've done it there, you want to come over and do it on this side as well. So for anyone catching up, it's a 4 1/4 inches high that I have marked this. And then when you turn it, 4 1/2 inches again, so that you have the same size on both. In fact, I will pop that in a circle over there, so anyone joining, catching up, it was 4 1/4 inches. I didn't know how to write this on my piece of paper beforehand. You know, usually I put a piece of paper so people could got the score marks. There were so many score marks, I didn't know how to mark which one was which one. So I thought if I wrote it while we're talking, we'll be all right, because everyone will know where we are. And just in case, I got my bigger post-it notes out as well, so that I can keep going with the writing measurements down. That little gap in the scoring tool is ideal, isn't it? See exactly what you're doing. So who's crafting along? What colour are you doing? I'm using the So Ornate DSP because I really like that foil part in it, and I thought it looked really elegant for this card, but I'm not going to lie, I would have quite enjoyed it if I'd done a pink card. Have you seen the new Magenta Madness in colour? Oh, it's beautiful. I can tell that's going to be my favourite. Oh, Janice. Okay. What have we done? So it's your 8.5 at 4 1/8, so it goes into an actual half. You're bending these back at 2 1/16. Your score marks at 4 1/4 inches. So you've got your triangles in. Oh, so you've done... You're going to have an interesting fold. You know, if you use your bone folder to score that back out, you won't see it because it will be hidden. If you've done it down there, it'll be hidden by the DSP layers, so you don't have to restart again. It's your score will be hidden behind these. So, yes, I know, it's so gorgeous, Cindy. That's the one. I keep looking at it like, oh. So with these, when you get to this point here, you want to push it back in on itself so it goes the other way, and push these down so it kind of folds like that. And you want to do that on all of the fold lines. Push that the other way and fold these backwards. Depends on the thick cardstock you're using, it's a bit fiddly. I'm using our thick Whisper White because it's lovely. I was being a little bit sulky earlier, Karen, so I have, where I work, I have a big guillotine in the office because we do quite a lot of cutting, and you can put a whole pack of paper in it and cut it in one go. It's amazing. But obviously not being in the office, I've now run out of my pre-cut card, so I was having to cut it all individually. Oh, I was proper sulking. I was in a right. It's a bit origami-ish, this card, isn't it? But yeah, so it should do like that, like a sailboat. So what you're going to do is we're going to stick that together, and that will be the front of your card, and that's how it stands. So that is actually the complete base for your card, our sailboat. I'm just checking to see if everyone's caught up before we start decorating. I know, Norma, you have to pinch the middle while pushing the sides back. It's an awkward little fold, that, especially if you're using thick paper, but it's worth it when you do it. Yeah, I know that's what you all do, Karen, but I've always very much enjoyed having my fancy machine and being all, ha ha ha, I can do it in like 2 seconds. Right. So, like I said, I'm using Old Olive. My trimmer, I popped it down somewhere. Your card strip, you want to be 1 7/8 of an inch, and you ideally need 2 of them. Yeah, it was 1 7/8, I said. See, I tell everyone these post-it notes are for everybody watching in case I say it wrong. They're for me, really. Okay, so when it goes on, it will just have that sort of slight gap. There'll be a slight frame for it. Okay. The DSP is going to be 1 6/8 of an inch. So again, that will have just a slight bit of Old Olive. I realise this is very hard to see because they're so alike. It'll just have a slight banner around it. Okay. Don't stick them together yet. Now this is the bit, Janice, this is going to worry you considering you went wrong already, but this was where I really got muddled earlier. What will probably be the simplest thing to do is to put it on and to cut it with your craft knife so you get it the right size. Because it is so thick, I just wasn't getting on with that at all earlier. So what I actually did was cut it at 1 3/8 of an inch. So I do exactly the same as what I did with this bit here. I'm just going to pop a dot on the side at 1 3/8 of an inch. And I'm only going to do this one first, and then if I've managed to get it wrong, we can sort it out on the other one. Are you all sitting there waiting to see if I get it right first? Good idea. One 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so then you want to flip it because you want to get the 1 3/8 of an inch up there as well. So what I'm going to do is I've noted down here, this is how I work, by the way. I scribble on pieces of paper that aren't even legible. That's how I roll. So I said it's 5 1/4. I'll check where I'm going with it. Yeah, it is. So if you go to 5 1/4, just over. It's really easy to take card off. It's really hard to stick it back on. Okay, and you want it to go the same way. So you want this bit here to go up, so you turn it. And again, you're going to mark it at 1 3/8. Have I lost you all now? When I was on the phone earlier, I said, I'm going to lose everybody. And this was at the time I said it. I was like, oh. The card was 5 1/4 carat. So it was 1 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/4 inches. And these little bits you've cut off, keep those because they're the corresponding bits. So whereas this will fit on here, like that, these will then go on the top, like that. And they'll do that bit. So you want to keep the two bits you cut off. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this to 5 1/4 and do the exact same thing. So 1 3/8 of an inch. Oh, knocking everything about. And trim. And then again, 1 3/8 of an inch. and trim. Hello, Amber. Oh, you've missed all the fun of my measurements. So anyone who is following along after, I will write this out cleanly and I will work out how I'm going to mark the score bits down, and I'll pop them onto my Facebook and my Instagram so you've got them. But then yes, that just fits onto there. This one onto there. And then all of these green panels will fit there and there. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to do the DSB bits so I can stick them onto here before sticking everything onto the card. So keep it all together. Do you know, actually, Colleen, that's not silly, because when I did it earlier, I thought I quite like it, and for some reason it looks really manly, and I'm not sure if it's because of the straight lines or because I haven't put any like flowers on it for once. But yeah, I did think about it more of a man card. Oh, you wouldn't have done Ivy. You'd have been fine. Once I finished confusing you. So for the DSP bit, you want to do exactly the same. But you're just going to make it a little bit smaller. So instead of being 5 1/4, you want it to be 5 1/8. Karen, I'll write that down on my sheet as well. By 5 1/8 of an inch. Just remember to keep the offcuts as well with this one. There. And you're still doing it at 1 3/4 of an inch. So 1 3/8 of an inch. Not 1 3/4, 1 3/8. Intriguing. That's a good word, Amber. It's I'll show you what I was going to do actually. I was going to do a different card all the way up until this morning. I was going to actually do this one today. And put some heat embossing up here and do it like that. But I think that'll actually be next week's card. And then this morning, for some reason, this card by Jill was sitting on my desk and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that today instead. I can never make my mind up, you see. Always causing trouble. Where did I put my mark? So instead I did a nice confusing fancy fold, but I feel we're getting there. You still want to keep these little bits that you're cutting off. I think it's the same as everything that's a weird shape. The panels are the hardest. I think it's because the maths gets a bit sort of confusing. Hi, honeybee. How are we doing, people who's crafting along? Have my measurements confused you all yet? So they would just go onto there like that. Use some Tombow to put these on so that if they are, because it is just a slight measurement, I can have some little wiggle room. There's one panel. When you come to stick this, make sure that you haven't stuck them both. Oh no, it doesn't matter because my DSP will do the same either way. But if you're using DSP where you need it to be one side up, you want to make sure that you have got it so it's in both directions. You see what I mean? Because one's going to stick onto the card that way and the other one that way. So if you've got them that this DSP that's directional, you can just twist it. But if it is sort of like a tree going in one direction, then you want to make sure you've got it like that. And then all the little triangles. So you want to make sure you've got triangles that also go in opposite directions. So you want those two for the bottom, and then the top, that one and that one like corners, and then just add the DSP on. For these bits I did have to trim them down, and it was just a scissor job, and it was, I don't know if you can see, it is a, let me do it that way. It's about that much off each side. It's only a slight bit, and I just did it with my scissors. And it fits on quite nicely, so it is just literally a slither. How's it, which go on which corners of the card? They're the inside corners here. So when you pull it together, it's the two that you see, Karen. It's these two and these two. So it's those panels. Opposite to what you've just done. I'm not talking because I'm trying to cut straight. This multitasking malarkey. So has everybody had a good week? I feel I've been really productive this week. I took Thursday and Friday off work. So I had crafting time with all the new catalogue goodies. And I've done my blog well up now because I've got a new boss starting at work next week, and I didn't know sort of what my work schedule would be like for a bit, so I got all blogged up. Well, I say all blogged up, I've made all the cards, that's the easy bit, isn't it? I haven't actually written the posts. That's the bit I avoid. I have absolutely no problem in the making. It's the writing. As you can tell, life would just be so much easier if you could just stick a post-it note on it, wouldn't it? I'm a post-it note gal. Yep. I don't think I chopped the one side of that before I did it. Just Good job I'm using Tombow. Oh, I should imagine that was fun, Colleen. How is your other grandchild? Colleen's a new grandmummy again. I'm a PA, Ivy. I work for a sports governing body. So you must have it in Germany, like lawn bowling on a green and you bowl. I work for the governing body for that in England. And it hasn't been, I was going to say it hasn't been that busy this year because obviously no one can bowl, but actually it's been really busy because we've had lots of questions about what people can and can't do. So it has been quite a lot busier than expected. I think we were all expecting no phone calls and we weren't. 2 weeks old today. Oh, so cute. Yeah, it is nice, Ivy. I play bowls as well, so it's something that I actually really quite enjoy. I think it makes it easier if you do something, doesn't it? It makes it easier to be a demonstrator if you like paper crafting. It makes it easier to work in a sport that you know and you like. So yeah, quite lucky. I actually think it's one of those I'm one of those believers in if things are meant to be, they're meant to be. And I saw the job advertised because it used to be based about 4 hours away from my house, and then they relocated to it's about a half-hour drive, but in the traffic it's about an hour away. And they advertised the job and I thought, oh, you know, I've never been a PA before, I don't think I'd be very good at that. So I saw the advert and I didn't apply, and they hired someone and then they didn't last very long, so they re-advertised, and I saw it again and I thought, that's twice you've thought about it, just apply. And I got it, and I'm really glad that I did. But I think it's when you see things, if you see a little sign, and I think in fact seeing it advertised twice, you know it's right for you then, is my thing. So when you stick them on, it's like that. I'll try and keep it flat for you so you can see where all the bits are going. What's his name, Colleen? Yeah, I'm a good believer in signs, Ivy. I think these sort of things. Are you happy with your apartment? So I'm just going to leave that like that, so anyone who's crafting along can see where everything should be stuck. And what I did for the topper was I used the stitched circles. So I used the big stitch circle just for a white backing, and I use that with our thin whisper white. And then I also used the slightly smaller stitch circles. This is the largest and the second largest for the sentiment. And then I used the scallop circle with Old Olive just to give it a bit of colour. So I'm just going to run these through the Big Shot because you know me, my Big Shot is just behind me because I can't fit it into screen. And then anyone who's crafting along can see that there. There we go. Oh, what a lovely view. Do you ride, Ivy? So there's my 2 stitch circles. And onto the scallop one. So it's got character, Norma. It's not crooked, it's got character. I'm glad you like it though. I just thought it was really good that it folded flat so you could pop it in an envelope. I was like, yes, that's a good idea. So it was just this scallop circle that just shows you a hint of the old olive. And the stamp set I'm using is Strong and Beautiful. And it was this sentiment down here. I cherish you, my true friend. I know I can always count on you, which I think is quite cute. I like that stamp set. I never use it enough because it's all sentiments. Normally, like when you're doing a normal card, you will use the pictures on a stamp set and then use the sentiments that's in that stamp set. So I find this doesn't get much use. And it's a shame because it's a gorgeous one. So I'm using Old Olive so that it's all the same colour. And stick it all down. Has everyone who's crafting caught up with this bit? Yeah, it's carried over, Sophia. Strong and Beautiful. And I really like swervy fonts, and I think this just, I quite like this set. Janice, if yours looks like a dog's breakfast, you have used totally the wrong pieces. There is no pedigree chum or whatever on this. Right, so once you've done that, you want to glue these 2 bits together so they stick like that. So use a strong adhesive because it's thick card. I'm actually going to put it on both sides. My card is sticking. And then you just stick it in and push it down. There you go. So this goes on the front, and if you do the sentiment big enough, those bits that I said I shouldn't have used pen for, I should have used pencil for, just here, that you can sort of still see on the DSP, can totally be hidden by my sentiment and no one will ever know. Joanne, I'm just thinking about this. Where would you write your message? You'd have to, when you fold it flat, write your message on the back there. But yeah. So I'm just going to stick that down. I'm putting loads of adhesive on that too, so it definitely sticks. There we go. Janice, I'm really not thinking that it does. I will, for anyone who is crafting along, anyone I've confused, anyone who's catching up later, I will actually put these onto a proper note so everybody can see exactly where you score. It was just I couldn't work out in my head how to put these diagonal bits down. I sometimes think you need to see people do it rather than read an instruction, because I think they're quite confusing, those bits, if you're not watching. But I will pop a proper note up so that you can finish them off, or recraft another one if yours looks like the dog's dinner, Janice. Oh, well, at least it's not too bad now. Does it fold flat for an envelope? Let's again, I'm interested to see what products you've all used. Let me know. Let's see a picture, especially of the crooked ones. They'll all be good fun. And thank you for all joining. Oh yeah, Janice is on track now. Yay! Oh, I'm dead chuffed about that. Well, thanks all for joining. What do you all think for next week? Subject to me deciding to put a sentiment on this. Do we fancy this one? Or should we have a look for something else? And let me know if you want to make anything or see anything, and I will think of those for future lives. Not that I'm beginning to run out of ideas. Yeah, okay. So for next week, as the shopping list already, any big flower. The daisies are great because they've got punch with them, but if you've got a big flower that you can colour in, and more importantly, these include blends. So I had good fun yesterday actually. I went through all my blends to see if I needed any top-ups, and I must have made about 50 of the butterflies, all in different colours. I was having a great day. But thank you for joining. Everybody have a good rest of your Sunday and enjoy your bank holiday tomorrow. And I'll see you next week. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.